Do you remember Transformers War for Cybertron? This darker, more adult Transformer game really shocked people with its solid gameplay and visuals. War for Cybertron was developed by High Moon Studios. It was released in 2010 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows PC. So you have a few options when looking for a physical copy. As of right now, there is no current way to purchase a digital version. That's on PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, or even Steam. That's because the contract between Hasbro and Activision expired back in 2018. The story takes place on Cybertron during the civil war between the Autobots and the Decepticons. Megatron is looking to steal Dark Energon, use it to corrupt everything that gets in his way, and take control over Cybertron. You are able to pick between both factions from the start, but I would recommend playing through the Decepticon campaign first, as it sets up the whole plot. As much as you might like the Autobots, picking their campaign first might leave you a little confused on what's going on. War for Cybertron has plenty of detailed CGI and in-game cutscenes. These help keep the story exciting as you make your way through this 10-chapter campaign. War for Cybertron is a typical third-person shooter that has like a Gears of War kind of feel to it, but without all that cool cover mechanics. When picking your character, there's a good amount of Autobots and Decepticons to choose from. If you don't find your favorite Transformer, you should at least be able to find your second favorite. Each character has its own special abilities that take some energy to charge up. Once fully charged, characters like Megatron can siphon life out of nearby enemies, and Optimus Prime is able to boost morale, which reduces damage taken. Seeing as this is a Transformers game, you do have the ability to transform into vehicles. Optimus Prime turns into a sleek semi-truck, while Megatron turns into an aggressive-looking tank. There are a few moments where you'll get to enjoy playing as Starscream, Jetfire, or one of the other flying Transformers. Transforming feels snappy and doesn't slow down gameplay. I just wish it didn't feel like an afterthought. There doesn't seem to be much use for it besides a few driving sequences that are really short. I tried transforming in combat so I could run over enemies like in Transformers 2004, but it didn't seem worth it. I just ended up taking a lot of unneeded damage. The flying stages, on the other hand, make really good use of the ability to transform into jets. Controlling yourself in flight mode feels really good, like there's some weight to the jet. This helps you not crash into obstacles or walls, and leads to some really cool firefights once you feel comfortable flying. It's a shame that there are only 2 chapters where you can pick flying Transformers. I really wish there were more. There's a decent variety of weapons to choose from, which helps keep the game interesting. Weapons can be found in chests, picked up off the ground. There are some bigger enemies that drop heavy weapons on death. I'd recommend grabbing these when possible. They have plenty of ammo and hit really hard. Definitely give each weapon a shot, even if you think you won't like it. You never know what certain weapon could fit your gaming style. Besides, there's always a new weapon to swap between every few rooms. That being said, I couldn't stand the shotgun type weapons. I gravitated more towards the machine guns and the detonation grenade launcher. One thing I noticed is ammo can be hard to come by in a few spots, but you do have a powerful melee attack. The only problem is it's just a single swing. It's an all or nothing type of attack. Honestly, I wish you had a few more follow-up swings. Meleeing would feel a lot better if you could combo different attacks a bit easier. When it comes to boss battles, they do not pull any punches. They are intense, and they range from don't stand in the fire type of boss fights to fighting across most of the chapter, then ending with a larger-than-life capstone battle. Omega Supreme and Triptychon might be some of the most fun boss battles I've had in any Transformers game. At one point in time, the game did have multiplayer. Sadly, it has been taken away when that contract ended. I never experienced any of what multiplayer had to offer, and I really feel like I missed out. Playing War for Cybertron co-op would have had to made the whole experience that much more enjoyable. Besides a few quality of life changes and maybe a bit more variety on the level design, the overall gameplay is solid and should not disappoint most people. 14 years later, and the graphics still hold up. From battling over Cybertron to flying through space, everything looks amazing. There always seems to be something going on in the background that helps make the world feel alive. The animations for all the Transformers, like switching between forms or going in for that melee attack, are so fluid. You can tell the animators really took their time. My only issue is that the whole world is this kind of dark gray color palette. The lack of color variety gets old really quick, and sometimes it makes it difficult to see where you're being shot from. Most of the time the game runs at a steady frame rate, but on the PlayStation 3 there are tears that can appear all over the screen. Once the fighting got intense, I didn't notice them, but if you are someone that does, you might want to keep an eye out for the 360 or PC versions, as this doesn't happen. It's always awesome to hear Peter Cullen's voice as Optimus Prime, and I'm really glad they were able to get him for this game as well.
Autobots, roll out!
All the voice actors did do a fantastic job, and the sound designers nailed their part for the sound effects. What I didn't expect was how hard they went on the music. If you like industrial or progressive rock, you are in for a real treat. If you haven't heard the name Tyler Bates, you've probably heard his music in a few of your favorite movies such as 300, Guardians of the Galaxy, or John Wick. I couldn't ask for a more amazing soundtrack to crush my enemies to. And don't get me started on what might be the best ending credits song. If you are a fan of the Gen 1 Transformers movie, you'll be glad to know Stan Bush did the ending theme titled Till All Are One. If you need only one reason to beat this game, listening to that song is it. Even with all its flaws, War for Cybertron might be one of the best Transformers games to exist, and this is coming from someone that really loves Transformers 2004 on the PlayStation 2. The story, gameplay, and graphics all came together to make an impressive game that still is a lot of fun to play this many years later. Overall, the game should take you about 10 to 15 hours to beat if you're looking for a game that doesn't take up much of your free time. To any Transformers fans out there, I recommend that you give this game at least one playthrough. To anyone that just likes third-person shooters, I tell them to give this game a go as well. If you don't trust me, trust Steve Craig Retro Games. He also agrees that War for Cybertron is totally worth a playthrough. Thank you for everyone that made it this far. Stay safe, stay retro, and I hope you find the games you're looking for. See ya.